So that's what I want to show you how to do today, so you can do this in your businesses. Imagine cutting your study time in half and finishing the things you need to know in half the time, and having more time to do things you'd rather be doing that you love, but you can't find time for now because you've got so many things going on that you have to get the reading done on your free time. You begin having this today by learning to read and learn faster and better. And you don't have to be a genius or have a photographic memory or spend months with hypnosis or strange eye movements. My program is different. It's based on how the brain processes information and not on conditioning. Of course, you don't need special learning abilities. What you need is a pattern. Let me show you the pattern now and take notes. This is important. What I want you to do when you get out of here, get a book that's familiar to you. If you have to do it when you get home, that's fine. That would not confuse you if you read it right now. I want to make sure the only thing that could confuse you is the speed and not the content. And read for a minute with a timer. And at the end of the minute, put a little pencil mark where you finished. And now I'm going to show you a technique for going quicker. You want to use your hands. Take your right hand and go across one line at a time from left to right with your eye following. Don't go faster than you could read. Don't go slower than you could read. And if you know what you're reading, try going a little faster till you don't know what you're reading. So you can find your true limit and then go back down just a bit. And what you're going to do is go from one line to the other. Don't go down the middle, but across. That's important. And you go across the line, one line at a time, all the way across, as fast as you can understand. Practice that for about 10 minutes. Then go back to the place you initially tested your speed and time yourself for 1 minute, this time using your hand to move your eye as quickly as you can read. And you will be amazed when you hit that spot where you were before and go 10, 15, or even 20% further with the same or better comprehension. It's that simple. That's the first step. So we've covered how to read faster right away. Now we got to go into things that matter. What about comprehension? Who cares how fast you read? Remember Woody Allen? If you don't remember anything, it's not helping. The technique for comprehension comes from schema. It's a big word because when you're in college, they like to use words nobody understands. All it means is what you know already. It's what's in your mind. I'm going to show you how schema works. This is a passage with no schema. Should be easy, but watch how confusing it is. It's an easy thing to do. Many people are able to do this at an early age, but be careful not to rush or you might have a serious problem. You can learn this by yourself, but probably want someone to help you. Would you bet your life right now you know what I'm talking about? I wouldn't. If I were you, I know what I'm talking about, but I wouldn't recommend you to do it. 2 words, bike riding. Read it again. Bike riding is an easy thing to do. Many people are able to do this at an early age. Be careful not to rush, or you may have a serious problem. How easy was it to read now? That's schema. Schema is what your brain is looking for in everything you read. The key that opens the meaning, that makes it make sense to your brain. Here's the most important skill of all, emotional intelligence. Now, if you get nervous taking a test, what does it do to your performance? If your kid's taking an SAT and says, I'm bored, I want to go home now, and just fills it out, they're bored. So it's costing you $150,000 more because they were bored. They couldn't work for another hour. And that happens every single time the test is given. I can guarantee it. I'm going to show you how to change an emotional state. Can you stand up? Get into this, and I'm going to show you physically how to do this. Now, we know the left side of the brain controls what part of the body? And the right controls? So take your left hand and touch your right shoulder, and your right hand and touch your left alternately. And it's not just the Macarena without music. It's a brain massage. Does it feel good? Now, do the same thing to your opposite knee. And it requires more thinking. Both sides of your brain are engaging now. Throw your right arm up in the air, make a fist, thumb inside. I feel great. I feel great. Yes. Yes. We're going to do 3 sets of these, and when we're done, I'll show you how this can change your state and give you unlimited energy when you need it at a meeting or taking an exam or certification or in traffic. We'll start with the left to right shoulder taps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How do you feel? I feel great. Yes. Let's do it. That was a little anemic. You really want to sound like you feel great. Let's try a little faster now. Watch. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How do you feel? I feel great. Yes. Let's sprint it. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How do you feel? I feel great. Yes. Give yourselves a hand. Feel great. Sit down, and now I'll show you what you learned. You know what happens when you do this 3 times? Nothing. Remember Pavlov? He rang a bell, he fed a dog. He rang a bell, he fed a dog. He rang a bell, and the dog drooled. You don't want to drool. You would like to feel more energy when you need it. Now, you don't want to be in the middle of an important meeting with a prestigious client and start tapping your shoulders. It's not a recommended exercise. But if you did this 3 times a day for a few months, each time you squeezed your thumb, you had just gone quicker and quicker. You stimulated one and then the other side, both at the same time. Your energy went up, and you said, I feel great, yes, and you do. Eventually, when you're sitting in the meeting and you need that burst, instantly, you go, I feel great, yes, to yourself. Squeeze your thumb, and what do you think you'd feel? That's your bell. That becomes your trigger, and you can change your state. Teach that to your kids, so you don't have to pay that extra $150,000 of tuition. Emotional intelligence, critical. I was a lifeguard. I actually taught life-saving for 18 years. I was a Red Cross volunteer. I've saved 16 people. I taught about 6,000 people to swim and about 600 lifeguards. I was swimming in a pool where I was a member. I wasn't the lifeguard. I was doing about a mile and a half swimming laps, and there was a drowning in the other pool, the kid pool. So all the lifeguards left because it's a drowning. That's what you're supposed to do. I'm not working there, and I'm not supposed to interfere because it's not my pool. I'm doing my lap, and I noticed an old person floating face down. And when I flipped and came back, he's in the same spot. That's not good usually. There's only one person in the pool besides me. This old guy floating, and it's a 16-year-old lifeguard doesn't notice. He's floating 5 minutes face down. It's not a whole lot of people here. So I swim over and I say, sir, are you all right? Nothing. Shook him, nothing. Turned him over, he was dead. He had a heart attack in the pool. Now I'm no longer there to swim laps. I'm the lifeguard. I put on my lifeguard hat. I scream to the kid, we got to get this guy out and do CPR right now. The kid comes in, he's shaking like a leaf. We pull him out of the pool. We put him on the side. I'm doing the compressions, you're doing the breathing. You know why? 99% of the time when they've drowned, they'll vomit when you do the mouth-to-mouth. And I'm not getting paid for this. I'll save his life, but I'm not swapping puke. That's a little over the top. We got him back. His heart started to beat. Thank you. I can't tell you. I was in my 30s. This is 30 years ago, and I still remember it. It was one of the high points of my life. I can't tell you what it feels like to save a life and bring someone who's dead back to life. It's an amazing feeling. But had I panicked, what do I do now? He's dead. How many compressions? How many breaths? There's no time to look at the book. You have to be on autopilot, and you need that in your business. So many businesses fail not because people don't know what to do. They can't do it. They're paralyzed by fear or anxiety or uncertainty. Your emotions can cripple or help you to become successful. Memory. This is a biggie for a lot of us. How do we remember all the information when there is so much to remember? Faces, numbers, license plates. A lot of times you have to remember data and you don't have a whole lot of time to learn it. And I'm going to show you how to remember numbers and important facts quickly and effectively. And there are a number of techniques. This was developed by the Greeks. I'm going to give you 10 things to memorize. And as a control, I won't show you how. Let's see how well you do. And then I'm going to teach you how. And then instantly, you're going to remember the list backwards and forwards. You can't remember. You want to remember pole, shoes, tricycle, car, glove, gun, dice, skate, cat, and bowling pins. What were the objects in the middle of my list? Notice, and you're pretty trained. Notice how hard that was. Because the first and last objects on any list are the easiest ones to remember, I deliberately picked the middle. In just a few minutes from now, you'll know this entire list backwards and forwards, and then you'll know how to memorize license plate numbers, telephone numbers, and number statistics that are critical in your work quickly and instantly. What the Greeks discovered is things you know already are like hangers in a closet. What do you do with a hanger? You hang things on it. Instead of trying to learn things from scratch, we take the information we already know and link it to something we need to know. Can you count to 10? I'm going to say yes. So that means those numbers are in your brain already, available as a hanger. I'm going to show you how to use them. Number 1. Does the number 1 look like a pole? So what's 1 going to be? A pole. Let's do this together. 1, 2. How many shoes do you wear? What's 2? What's 1? 3. Tricycle. How many wheels are on a tricycle? What's 3? What's 2? What's 1? 4. Car. How many tires are on a car? What's 4? What's 2? What's 1? What's 3? Notice it's associating, not memory. 5. Glove. How many fingers are in a glove? What's 5? What's 3? What's 4? 6 gun. How many bullets are in a 6 gun? What's 6? What's 1? What's 3? 5. 7 is lucky in dice, so what's 7? And 6 was a? And 3 is a? And 1 is a? 8 rhymes with skate. What's 8? What was 7? And 1, and 3, 9. Cat. How many lives does a cat have? What's 9? What does 8 rhyme with? And 7 is? And 6, and 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Good. 10. How many bowling pins are in a bowling lane? What's 10? Let's do the list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And how does it make you feel? Great. And when you feel great, do that, because it actually enhances the power of the stimulus to make you feel good. If it's a sincere thing, a little funny story on sincerity. About 10 years ago, I was on the TV show Joe Franklin. So those of you in New York would be familiar with it. It's the longest running show in the history of television. Let's put it this way. I was on the show in my late 40s. I saw Joe before I went to kindergarten on TV. He was on TV in 1948, 1949. And it was his last 3 weeks on TV. So I said, Joel, tell me your secret. How did you do it? How did you get the longest running show in the history of television? He looked at me and he said, sincerity. And when you can fake that, you can do anything. I also think if it's real, it's even better. But it was an interesting answer. Now I'm going to show you how to use what I taught you to remember numbers. This is useful for your students as well. Everything I'm teaching you, share this with your kids. It's important. They need this help. No one teaches learning in school, and then they get chastised for not learning. Well, duh. You didn't teach them. What did you expect? Magic? They should just open up a book and know it. Because that's what we all thought learning was. You look at a book and you take notes. Well, that doesn't work unless you actually know what to take and what to look for and how to remember it, how to apply it. And here's how to use it for numbers. Pi, the value of pi, not something you eat, not pecan pie, but 314, the value of pi. You teach that in school, you know what happens 10 minutes later? No one knows the value of pi. They know the statistics of every baseball, basketball, and hockey and football player in history, but the value of pi, that's impossible. How can anyone learn something that difficult? Well, it's 314, tricycle, pole, car. So I make a movie. Tricycle hits a pole on a car. Let's play the movie and find the value of pi. Tricycle hits a pole on a car. That could be the digits on a license plate. Tricycle, pole, car. And now you can remember it easily as a series of pictures rather than as a single number. There's one more trick you can use to learn digits. 314 can also be March 14th. And you can learn up to 8 digits by having 2 for the month, 2 for the day, and 4 for the year. And so what if it's a month that doesn't exist, the 15th month, 1-5? It's okay. Maybe it's a different culture. They have 15 months in the year. And you can use that then to lock in the important numbers that you have to remember very quickly in a very short amount of time.
So can I read a lot of books on this thing?
Yes, the Sony Reader Digital Book can carry hundreds of books, like mine. There's over 1 million ebooks available.
As the world record speed reader, I strongly endorse this product.
So you can read hundreds of books on this?
I just did.
I did too. No, I didn't.
The Sony Reader Digital Book, starting at $199.
Another financial page-turner, literally the world's fastest reader, Howard Berg, is wrapping up. That's right, he appears to be wrapping up, much like Ali in that 15-round extravaganza with Chuck Wepner, wrapping up Max Baucus's health care bill. All 1,503 pages of it. As the world's fastest reader and a guy who can comprehend every single word he whips through, he is going to be able to tell us what is in that and whether it solves our ages-long healthcare crisis. I want to allow him to do that as he whips his way through here. Howard was very nice enough to promise to come back 1 hour from now on Fox Business Network, which if Howard wasn't so busy, he would say, if you don't get it, but he's busy, as you can see. All right, well, the reason why we have Howard doing this, whoa, he's done. He is done. Howard, congratulations. Thank you very much for the better part of this hour. I know, champ, I know. If you want to take a breather, or maybe someone get him some water. Maybe vodka might be in order at this point. But, man, look at that. Yeah, exactly. You need that rest.